I am ready.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the PhDJ podcast. I'm here. It's Joe Bunn. Mike Walter is here. What's up, Mike?
How are you, Joe?
I'm pretty good, man. I'm pretty good. I'm ready to do some recording. It's
I
good
like
to see
this
you.
topic today. I think it's going to be interesting.
I do too. I kind of intentionally left it a little bit loose, but basically, I guess we're going to jump right into it. I mean, do you have anything you want to? Do you want to have anything?
Well, I actually do. I want you to clarify something that you said to me a few weeks ago. You have never in your life shoveled snow?
No, I've never in my life shoveled snow.
That's the craziest thing in the world to me. We got hit this past weekend. I don't know if you saw any of the pictures or videos.
I did. It was
We got
unbelievable.
about a foot of snow, 12 inches.
Yeah.
Other parts of Jersey got even a little bit more. I think there was parts that got 18. We were fortunate. It came Friday night, overnight into Saturday. We only had one event on Saturday that wound up going on. My DJ made it, thank God.
Nice.
But I mean, Kelly and I basically spent the whole day Saturday. Like, we woke up Saturday morning, we did the first shoveling. After that, I did the rest basically every 90 minutes. Just going up, bundling up, and going out and moving another 2 inches of snow that had fallen in that 90 minutes. And it was an all-day project. And I thought about you a couple times. I'm like, that guy, I was about to say, but
that son of a bitch
has never. So you don't even own a snow shovel?
No, I know they're flat and they're like kind of wide. I mean, I've seen them.
Different kinds. You asked me about it. There's different types of snow. This is so not PhDJ podcast. But I mean, if it's cold, the snow is really light, which makes it easy to move.
Okay.
But if it's a little bit heavier, it gets some moisture in it. That's what they call good. So you've never had a snowball fight either?
I've had a snowball fight. Yes. There has been enough snow here, but nobody here would actually want to shovel the snow. They would want it to be there to make like the snowmen and the sledding. So like, I don't understand
walks and your stoops going into your house. I know that's a city term. Stoop.
No. I mean, nobody would ever do that.
Driveway that I needed to, Kelly had a client she had to go see on Saturday, one of her clients. So I mean, I was a hero going out there and
right. I guess that was what I was going to ask. Why don't people just stay inside and not shovel it, and then it'll eventually melt?
You got places to go. You can't shut life down when. I mean,
that's what happens here. It is over for life.
This happened on Saturday morning.
Sure.
It is now Wednesday morning, and I'm still in the areas that I didn't shovel. We still have about 6 inches, so about half of it has melted because we've had a couple of warm days. But I mean, this stuff won't be gone for another week or so. We're supposed to get rain on Friday, so that might wash a lot of it away. But you have to anyway. I wanted to clarify. Let's get to the topic though.
Yeah. All right. So we had talked to a few different DJs, and so this is probably part one of this type of podcast. And some DJs had kind of chimed in over the years from different areas, Midwest, California. Obviously, Mike is in New Jersey. I'm in North Carolina, and had talked about how some things we talked about are much different than what they do. And
you're specifically talking about timeline.
And I'm specifically talking about timelines, mainly timelines, and or the concept of dancing people before truly open dancing, which is super rare down here. And Mike dances people all the way up to.
I would want you to clarify to me. As soon
we'll talk about it in the episode. How about that?
It's open dancing.
Right. Exactly. Okay, we'll talk about this.
And switch that needs to be flipped.
Right. To me, it's like an actual switch. Like I walk over to the wall and go, open dance time.
And if I could offer one big piece of advice to everybody that has that philosophy, is get rid of that philosophy.
Yeah.
You can dance them during cocktail hour if you choose. There's nothing, or I shouldn't say if you choose, if the crowd is right and you play the right music. I've had people dancing during cocktail hour.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's not like the sky's not going to open up and the DJ God isn't going to say, you are dancing them too early. This is not open dance time. So I think we as an industry should stop thinking of it as like, nope, I'm not allowed to dance them yet.
I mean, trust me, I had to do it recently, and as I just felt awkward, but I did it and it worked, and I felt very. I was channeling the spirit of Mike Walter. I felt like
not just me. Listen, I don't.
He's not the king of it, right?
Right. It's a tri-state area mentality. And I also, I don't, if we do this show with other people, I'd like to get a Chicago person on because I
me too.
think Chicago has a similar philosophy of go for it early, get them dancing. Who cares if dinner has been served yet or blah, blah, blah. So anyway, so how do you want to do this? Do you want?
Yeah. Let me just, I think I'm just going to talk about it in short parts, right?
Okay.
So my first thought was, and I think I looked this up last year at the end of 2021 when we were actually back to doing a lot of shows as you were. Mike, what is your percentage? This would be my first question. What is your percentage of clients that book Elite Entertainment that are using you guys for the ceremony? Just
2/3. I know that number right off the top of my head. 2/3, and another 10% of our clients get married at the facility but use live musicians. So it's only, and this I know from our photography division, that they do a quarter of the events at a church or a temple or somewhere else, and 75% are on site.
Okay. So we're about the same. I think we were 70%. So Mike's basically saying 67% of his couples. And again, so that's usually where our day begins. And I don't want to necessarily get into I'm going to get more into, if it's okay with you, Mike, the chronology. You like that word, chronology, versus the time, because the time is going to fluctuate depending on summer. It doesn't get dark till 9 o'clock. So the ceremony is going to start later, blah, blah, blah. So again, yes, Mike and I are almost the exact same. He does probably double or almost triple, I think, the number of weddings that we do up in New Jersey. Sorry, man, let me kill this. And but again,
like the numbers. Swag mugs. Look at that.
Ooh, I think I got. Look, I got a crate, hackers.
I got a Yeti.
I got a fake Yeti. I think.
I spent the last 2 weeks giving these out to some banquet people.
Yes. Yeah. See, he knows the tricks, guys.
Yep.
Okay, so ceremony begins regardless of the time. Sometimes Mike's officiating it. Sometimes he's doing the audio. Blah blah blah. Okay, so let's say ceremony is whatever, half an hour. Usually, Mike.
Yeah, sometimes some clients give you an hour. You know, they tell you it's 5, but it's really a 5:30 start, and they just want to make sure they have music. But I mean, that's just something we clarify in the review. We have music started before the ceremony is supposed to start anyway, so to us it doesn't matter.
So that brings me to a side point real quick, and just, this is going to be a topic maybe for some of the newer people that are listening. So our company policy, let's just say that the ceremony starts at 5 o'clock, right? So that's printed on the invitation.
Right.
Chris and Susie are getting married at 5 o'clock. Well, then that means for us, we're going to start prelude music, even if it's 1,000 degrees and nobody's going to walk outside at 4:30. So
that's
then
pretty much our goal too.
Okay, and then I back that up 2 hours. So that is our arrival time.
Okay.
So if the wedding planner's like, what time can I expect you or your guys, Joe? I would say 2:30. How about you?
We back that up 90 minutes. So which to me is 2 hours before they've told us ceremony's going to start.
Correct.
We added the half hour, and then we're getting there. And I mean, that's just something I'm fortunate that everybody on my staff agrees with me about this. I'd rather be early. And like you said, when it's 1,000 degrees, I want to get that gear set up outside and then get back inside into the air conditioning for as long as freaking possible until I have to go back out and suffer in the sun. So
sure.
Yeah, my goal is get there early, get it done, and spend the least amount of time outdoors.
True. Perfect. Okay.
And same in reverse. I mean, I did some ceremonies this November that never should have been outdoors. They were too cold. But some brides just get it in their head, I'm getting married outside.
And you think that was a COVID thing, or they were trying to?
No, I think I've had this situation pre-COVID. I mean, some brides they just have it in their head. I'm getting married outside, and I don't care what the temperature is, unless it's pouring rain. We're getting married outside. It's happening.
Yeah, same here.
But so I think we're similar as far as that goes. Sure. We're often playing prelude music for nobody for the first 20 minutes.
Same.
We have a ton of pre-mixed ceremony, just hour-long background. So for us, we can just hit play, and we don't even need to be there. It's
same. Yeah. Now, in the comments, are people going to be like, "How dare you not mix the prelude music"? Are we going to get that?
No. No, oh, you mean in our comments? I thought you meant feedback. Probably, because DJs find something to take out all the time. Yeah.
Okay. Cocktail hour next, or we call it cocktail hour?
Right into cocktail hour.
Sure.
And I'll also just throw a personal note in here. I think
Sure.
I've said this on air before. When
Sure.
Kelly and I got married, we flipped it. We had cocktail hour, and then towards the end of cocktail hour, we got married.
Got married,
We had a
yeah.
ceremony.
That's
And
cool.
It was just a little flip on the timeline. I did that mainly because I knew there were going to be so many industry people there.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to throw them a curveball. My friend Jeff Craig has said he showed up halfway through cocktail hour and was like, "Oh, damn, we missed getting married." And then sure enough, 15 minutes later, we wound up getting married. Anyway, yeah, so that's our standard half-hour ceremony, and then it blends right into cocktail hour.
Okay, perfect. And so that cocktail hour could be, let's just say, on the same piece of lawn that the ceremony was, or it could be inside the building before the dinner. Okay, gotcha.
A lot of times, if it's inclement weather, or this time of year when it's too cold, the ceremony's in the main room.
Yes.
Cocktail hours in the and then during cocktail hour, they're flipping the main room.
Totally.
Sometimes we have to move, which is a pain in the ass. Sometimes our gear can stay where it is.
Yep.
And this goes back to something that you've talked about often. In that situation, we're offering to help. Hey, can we help move chairs, tables?
Yeah.
You guys have an hour to make this room into a banquet room.
Yep.
We're often pitching in at that point.
I made a really good video at the end of, or at the beginning of this year on YouTube. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, go check it out, about doing a room flip, and it really kind of showed the intricacies of it. So, anyway, okay, cocktail hour happens. Music's playing, whether you're mixing it or not, whatever's happening, whatever setup you're doing, and then let's just say introductions are at 6 o'clock. Now,
right.
At that point, Mike Walter's grabbing his pad, and you're walking out to line these people up outside the room, correct?
Now, let's go back to the music point.
Okay,
at this point.
sure.
This is where I think this is the section of music that I call doors open. So,
That's right.
Assuming cocktail hour 5 to 6 has happened in a separate room.
Okay.
At 6 o'clock, people start coming in, and we all know it takes 15, 20 minutes for everybody
Easily.
to get into the room and also to get the bridal party lined up. And
Easily.
this is where some DJs, I don't think, give enough thought. My goal in doors open is to play music that is danceable, but not a waste of a great dance song. So I'm not playing September here,
Sure.
but I may be playing something that's this close to like a really good dance song. And it often happens, maybe a third of the time, where I leave the room to line up the bridal party and I come in and there's a dozen people on my dance floor.
Oh, damn.
And again, I love that. I don't.
Yeah.
This isn't to me like, oh my God, people are dancing.
Right.
This is like, yes, it's going to be that kind of crowd tonight. So,
But is that an assistant is playing that mix, or is something pre-recorded while you're doing?
It's often pre-mixed. If I trust my mixer, if I'm working with a headliner who happen to be mixer or one of our veterans, then I'll give him a playlist and say, hey, play anything from in here.
Doors on, doors
but
open.
But it's often pre-mixed.
While we're, before we move past this, this is a perfect time to plug the video. Your video.
I get with the programming. Yes, I talk about this extensively in the seminar that I did last year. Thank you, Joe. That was a nice segue.
It's important video.
I talk about doors. I also talk about prelude. I talk about the ceremony. So I give a lot of and I give pointers about song suggestions and things like that, which you can pick up at my website djmikewalter.com for the embarrassing low price of $29.99.
Damn him! All right, I'm going to work with him on that this year, folks. All right, so get it while you can before I make it $290. All right, so Mike goes out, I go out, we line up the wedding party.
Go over the last names real quick. Yeah,
high five the couple. Get back to Mike will be on the dance floor. I'll probably be behind my podium, doing all the things, pushing buttons, talking on the mic.
I want to mention here too, Joe, and I guess kind of ask you. I'm seeing two different variations, not often yet, but every once in a while. We have some couples that instead of pairing everybody off, bridesmaid, groomsmen, then this. Yeah. I've had some couples ask me to bring in all the bridesmaids together. Don't even say their names. Just say and then some that just say bring in the entire. Just say, and now, ladies and gentlemen, your bridal party, and they just walk in mass. So you're seeing that too every once in a while. Yeah.
Or even just the couple.
That I've always seen sometimes, but I'm starting to see this more and more.
Me too.
I think it's fantastic. Who cares about the whole pairing off thing? I can tell you again, as somebody who owns a photography company, we take pictures of every couple walking in, bridesmaids and groomsmen, but nobody cares about them unless they're doing something outrageous, like the bridesmaid comes in on the groomsman's shoulders or something. It's a worthless photo, so it doesn't matter when couples suggest it or say, "Hey, what do you think?" I go, "Great. You want want to do it, let's do it.
Yeah, and I can assure you some old schoolers on here are going to cringe and us, go, oh, it's got to be formal and you got to say their first and last names. Like, there's way too many people that are trying to hang on to the past. Like, everything changes. You know what I mean?
Agree.
And so does your show. Your show needs to evolve. So. In fact, I'll go ahead and tease the next episode since Mike and I know what the next episode is going to be. We're going to talk about some of the things that people love and some of the people.
Great article this week from brides.com. Yeah, that's
killer article.
Interesting
anyway,
topic.
That's going to be the next one.
Yep.
Things that people love and hate at weddings. All right. So moving on with this. Come in now. What's that?
You introduced the bride party
couple.
So now this is where I believe our timelines really diverge.
Maybe. I still... I encourage this, and I pretty much see this at almost, I would say, 97% of my weddings. The first dance happens right when they walk in. Yes or no?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're encouraging.
97?
I said 97. Yeah, I don't know where I got that.
Maybe 90% for me, because that other 10% says to me, Mike, we want to be introduced and we want to do 15 minutes worth of dancing before we do our first slow song.
Oh, cool.
So we're seeing that. And again, I love that, Joe, because what that says to everyone in the room is we are partying tonight. We're not waiting. The formalities can wait a little bit. We are jamming.
I've never done that. I'll be honest.
Couples say that to me, and sometimes couples will go, hey, what would you think if I go, great, let's go for it.
Yeah. I love that.
And here's a little tip and a pointer for something like that. If you're going to do that, when you introduce the bride and groom and ask everybody to please rise, if that's what you do, that's usually our trigger. Please rise for the bride and groom. Sure. Please rise and gather around the dance floor. Give everybody a couple minutes. Introduce the bride and groom, and so this way everybody is right there. Just take one step forward, join your bride and groom on the dance floor, and whatever song you've used to introduce them becomes the first dance song.
Oh, dude, good stuff.
Yeah.
Are y'all listening? Anyway, all right. So now is where it might deviate.
But for the other 90% of the time, yes, bring in the bride and groom. Maybe they'd party with their bridal party on the dance floor a little bit to whatever intro song, but then clear it and go right into their first dance.
Now, Mike, are you also seeing most first dances and parent dances truncated? You like that word? I'm going all. Thank you. You like that?
Rarely with the first dance, almost always with the parents' dances.
Same.
And for those of you who don't know the fancy words, truncated just means shortened.
Shortened.
Yeah, very nice, Joe. Yes,
thanks, man.
We have made edits of just about every popular parents' dance. So I have
an actual edit, not a fade out at this stage.
Exactly. No. And the reason why you should make an edit is most of these songs have a big ending.
They do.
And you don't want to, and if you fade out at the 2-minute mark, you're going to miss that big ending. So if you make an edit, which usually means skipping the second verse, you still get that big ending. I have 2-minute versions of My Wish, of I Loved Her First, of you name any typical parents dance that you can name, unless it's already a 2-minute version.
Sure.
There's no point in shortening Wonderful World because it's already a short version. But if it's a 3.5-minute song, make yourself a 2-minute edit.
Fantastic. Mike will be sending me those later. And moving on. So first dance happens. Now, here's where we probably may deviate. Now, I would say this is where it gets interesting for us. This is about 50-50 for my weddings, which are a third of what Mike does. But about 50-50, normally here, two things can happen. Usually the father of the bride, parents of the bride would come up, do a brief welcome. Thank you all for coming. We got people from California, from North Carolina, blah, blah, blah. Possibly a blessing, normally somebody else, probably the officiant, especially if they're an actual, preacher or priest, and then dinner begins. Or the other 50% would say, we want to knock out all of our special dances right when we come in. First dance, usually the whole song, like Mike said, shortened version, father-daughter, shortened version, mother-son, then welcome, then blessing, then dinner. Now, what about you, Mike?
Yeah. So 90% of the time we do the parents' dances right after the first dance.
Interesting.
And if a couple asks my opinion, I tell them that's the best place to do it. Get all the spotlight dances out of the way. The main reason is it's the only time in the night when you can really guarantee that every person who needs to see this is in the room. The other popular time to do parents' dances is right after dinner. And the only challenge with that is sometimes after dinner you're looking around the room and my sister's out for a cigarette, or my aunt, I really want my aunt to see this, but where is she? So you spend sometimes 5 to 10 minutes, gathering everybody together. You don't necessarily need to do that right after intro. So that's the only reason why I suggest to couples. So 90% of the time we do first dance, truncated parents dances, and then we don't have parents welcoming as often. I wish it happened because I think sometimes that can be really fun, but we typically, if there is a blessing, we do it right after the parents dances, whatever toasts happen. And then at that point, most of our catering halls will be serving a first course, not main course, but a salad or a pasta first course or something like that, where we then keep them seated after the toast for 5 to 10 minutes. But that's where now we really diverge. My goal is right after that salad or first course, I'm opening the dance floor. I usually have a 20 to 25 minute window between then and dinner, and I am dancing these people in that.
And not bullshit, not like toe tappers. Like you're going in. Would that be Uptown Funk time or September time?
Yeah. If you don't follow me on Mixcloud, please do. Look up DJ Mike Walter on Mixcloud. And if you scroll through my mixes, I have plenty of opening dance set for blah, blah, blah. Give those a listen, and you will hear that I'm not talking about just, the way you look tonight by Frank Sinatra. I'm talking about, a jam. September, Uptown Funk, maybe some of the cheesier ones like We Are Family. Sometimes a line. I just put up one recently with a line dance in it. It was by request, and I played it in the opening set. But yeah, man, I'm going. Yeah. This is not midway. I'm going.
Yeah, no,
I want people sitting down at dinner time going, "Wow, this is already an awesome party."
Yeah.
And I can't wait to finish this prime rib and get back on the dance.
And this guy, and you're setting the bar. And you're letting people know, like, this, I know you've been to a lot of weddings, but you ain't seen me play. You know what I mean? Like, you're basically like, here's the barrier of entry. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm setting it super high. Right. Like and they were like, oh damn, that's the pre-dinner set. Like, what is this guy going to do from here?
I mentioned one window. Sometimes we have two. So there are some banquet halls here that, let's say they'll have a salad after toast, and then 20 minutes later, they serve a pasta course, and then a half hour after that is main course. So sometimes I'm getting two pre-dinner sets in. Dinner, sometimes, what are we saying now? Like an imaginary 6 to 10 timeline. Sometimes main course isn't coming out in that timeline till 7:45.
Oh, damn.
So it's almost at the halfway point of the reception before that main course comes out.
Interesting.
If I kept these people sitting the whole time, they're ready to revolt against me. They're ready to literally come up, push me aside, and start playing dance music. So
I'll be honest.
Timeline, it's different.
Yeah, I haven't seen a multi-course meal like that in many, many years down here. And I think Mike and I talked about this before. It's not even a class thing. It's just, I think a lot of people, especially people that seem to book us, are big on the state food stations and or like a buffet.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. Again, what percentage do you get buffets?
50%?
Yeah, maybe 5 to 10 for weddings.
Yeah.
Holiday parties, corporate parties, birthday parties, absolutely.
Sure.
But for weddings, maybe not even 10%.
Yeah. No, maybe even more for me. Maybe 60.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just briefly talk about dinner. Truly, people sit down. I'm eating my main course. Are you mixing? Are you playing off a list? Are you what's going on during dinner?
If a couple has given me slow background kind of songs, then yes. If not, I usually just ask them, do you have a specific vibe you want during dinner? Most couples like whatevs. That's where, and again, I talk about this in the programming seminar. I love playing covers. I've got some super cool covers that I think make people go, wow, what is this? Am I mixing live? If I'm served dinner, I'm going to duck out of the room for maybe
Sure.
10 minutes, no more than
Same.
that.
Same.
Scoff it down, get back to work. So I do have a
Same.
couple of pre-mix sets that I'll go to. But if I'm not being served dinner, sure, why not? Or sometimes I'm just not in the mood to eat, in which
Yeah.
case I don't leave the room and
Sure.
I'll spin. How about you?
Okay. Very same. Ask them what kind of vibe they want. Name a few artists. They'll maybe add a few other artists that aren't danceable. I'd put them in there. Most venues now are very close to me, just like they are to you. And they would say, look, we got in the Sycamore room down the hall. We got you a little, dinner.
Yeah.
Do you want to go eat it? Put on a couple songs. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, coming out of dinner.
Formality
Okay,
is your cake cutting. Do you usually do that right?
No, because, yes. So that was what I was going to say. The people that don't do the parent dances, we would come out of dinner, and it would normally go like this. I just want to make sure I'm thinking this the right way. So the people that don't do the all the dances right up front, they would come out of dinner. We would normally do a couple of toasts at that point, okay? And for the most part, it's going to be the best man and or maid of honor and maybe one of their parents, right? So 2 or 3. Most everybody else got their toasts out of the way at the rehearsal dinner the night before. And this would usually be standing beside the head table or standing by the cake. And then and then I'll tell you the other way. And then as soon as that's done, cut the cake. The banquet staff rolls that off to cut it and serve it and plate it. And then we would do father, daughter, mother, son. And then at the end of the mother, son, ladies and gentlemen, lights are coming down, music's coming up. Let's party, whatever.
So in our imaginary 6 to 10 timeline,
yeah. What
where
time is
are
it?
you approximately now? Is it 7:30? Is it 7 o'clock?
Is 6 o'clock the start of the cocktail hour or when
No, 6
doors
o'clock
open?
is when you brought everybody into the room and did intros.
It's probably 7:30.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Like I said, sometimes our dinner's not even being served till 7:30, but we've gotten a lot of those formalities out of the way.
Right.
Based on my pretend timeline, if they serve dinner at 7:30, I've already gotten 1, if not 2 dance sets in.
Yeah.
A half hour maybe for dinner. At 8 o'clock, I reopen my dance floor and we dance for probably close to an hour, and then we break for cake. Which more and more couples aren't even breaking for cake.
Correct.
I'm seeing the cake off to the side thing a lot.
Correct.
But if they do break for cake, then let's say 9-ish, they break for cake. I clear the dance floor. A lot of banquet halls still wheel the cake right onto the dance floor, so you literally have to stop the dancing. If they're not doing the bouquet and garter, that doesn't take more than 5 minutes, and then bang, we reopen the dance
That's right.
floor. Yeah.
The only
When
other
I
thing.
look at my requests.
Yeah.
One of the things I look for is an after cake song, which is, by my definition, if it's one of those songs that, man, I don't know where I'm going to put this.
Yes.
It's kind of, I don't know if it's going to work. I'll give you a good example. Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
I don't know if Bohemian Rhapsody is going to tear the place up or it's just going to be. So if I see Bohemian Rhapsody, I will often do it right after cake.
Perfect.
We've cleared the dance floor. Blah, blah, blah. We've done our couple of minutes of watch the bride and groom cut the cake, watch the bride and groom feed each other. All right, ladies and gentlemen, cake is going to be served in a few minutes. In the meantime, we have a song I'm sure you know the words to.
Yeah, hard reset.
Now, I don't care. Sometimes they'll pack the dance floor. Sometimes they'll sing along at their seats. But, so when I look through my requests from the bride and groom, if there's anything like that I'm like, I don't know about that, I go after cake. That's my after cake song.
I think along the same line of thinking, I would look at the list and pull something almost more sing-along or toe-tapper-ish, Brown-Eyed Girl, Sweet Caroline. In other words, I wouldn't come straight back out with like We Found Love, right?
Yeah.
Because it's too much of a transition phase right there.
Right.
The only other thing I was going to say is sometimes, a lot of times now, we've kind of flip-flopped the toast and the cake. So they would cut the cake, and then while the toasts were happening, that staff would have rolled it off the dance floor or rolled it out of the corner and cut it and plate it so that then, during the toast, they're basically serving it to the people.
Right.
And then like Mike said, open dancing somewhere, let's just say an hour later, we would do the bouquet and garter, which I would say I'm down to like 25% of my couples now doing the bouquet and garter.
Right.
Would you?
Yeah, similar.
Okay.
Well, actually, I'd say 25% are doing the bouquet. it's probably less than 10%.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And
Okay.
I don't blame people. It's a
Yeah.
cheesy, it's a sexual assault case waiting to happen. And the whole Me Too movement, thinking about putting a woman in a chair and a stranger putting his hands up her
Yeah,
skirt.
when was no? That was but the groom still taking it off the bride and throwing it to his groomsmen. It still happens. What percentage of the time? Okay.
Less than 10%.
Okay, but
Yeah.
when was the last time you did the thing where a stranger put the garter back on another stranger's
My
leg?
first wedding of the year. So last month they
Oh,
did
shit.
the whole thing, and we did it. And
Wow, I can't remember the last time I did that.
I'm shocked that anybody still wants to do it, but some people just consider it a hoot.
Sexual harassment
Do it,
case.
I'll do it, but I'd
Right.
rather not. It's kind of
Right.
an awkward thing. you know?
Right. Interesting. Okay. And then dance, and
Yes,
you know.
again. Yeah. So again, based on my timeline,
Yeah.
I'm probably getting a little bit more dance time than you.
You are.
But I don't envy you because you have a long. If you don't do, if you might have a 2-hour segment which is not broken up by anything.
That's true.
Yeah, and but so I would rather my shorter windows early,
Yeah.
cake, or
Yeah.
I mean dinner, and then an hour break for cake, and then 45-ish minutes till the
Yeah.
end of the night.
Yeah.
I think it's easier to program that way, and I think it's less draining on people.
Yeah.
So again, I know I joked about this last week. I will long argue that my timeline is better than yours. And my proof of that is I have friends in California who have called me and said, "Hey, Mike, I have a client that wants to do a New Jersey style or a tri-state. Can you walk me through that?" And I think you've asked me that question. Are people down your way? Nobody has ever said to us, "Hey, can we do a California style wedding?"
Can you do a North Carolina wedding?
That timeline where we sit around for a big chunk of time and don't dance and until the halfway point of the wedding. Can you do that for us?
Oh, wow.
So the fact that your clients every once in a while ask for our style, but our clients never ask for that style is my proof that I think our timeline is better.
I can't agree with that. It's a good argument, though.
Listen, you don't even have to go that far from me. I mean, I'm pointing right now west. Pennsylvania is very close, and they follow a timeline similar to yours. I have gotten yelled at in Pennsylvania for dancing people before dinner, and I've said to the maitre d', "You just told me dinner's a half hour away. I know, but you got to keep them down. Why? Why do I have to keep them? Give me one good reason why they have salad at 6:15. You told me dinner's not till 7.
Right.
What
What
is
are we
happening
doing?
in that 45?
Right.
Well, nobody else around here dances them. Well,
Welcome to the Mike Walter party.
so
He's
and
banned
in
from
that situation,
Pennsylvania
I
now.
don't say anything. I go, I didn't say the dance floor was open.
Right.
I'm shocked that they're dancing to September.
There you go. Right.
Your family. I thought this was a background song. So anyway.
Mike is currently banned from the Pennsylvania border. Oh, man, this was good stuff. We went over, as usual. We said we weren't, but this was a really good topic. Stay tuned for the next episode, everybody. We are going to be talking about an article in, what was it in, Bride Magazine?
It's brides.com. I imagine it's in a magazine. But
Okay.
It's called What Millennial Wedding Guests. And that's what I love about this. It's from the guest angle, not the briding. Love and hate most about weddings. You probably saw it. Everybody was sharing it last week on social. And if you haven't, you can look it up. I'm sure if you Google that title, What Millennial Wedding Guests Love and Hate Most About Weddings, it'll come up. And that's what Joe and I are going to be discussing next week.
That's your teaser, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Richie.
And Richie's going to be proud of us. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Ciao.